Well,
Well.
here we are.
Well, here we are. Another Zoom. Sorry, people that don't like the Zooms.
We're sorry for scheduling purposes. This is the easiest to do at the current moment.
In
We
the current listen, in
apologize.
Trump's America, it is all about the Zoom. And we're not saying that we're gonna be in person again. Do not worry. And it's gonna happen. We're gonna be in person again. As a matter of fact, I already was in person with Miss Snake last night, which we can talk about a little bit. But first and
Oh, we will talk
foremost,
because that photo that I posted to my story last night, the trade was living for it.
yeah,
I don't
and
know.
who took it? It was me. And by the way, we also saw like a mini blog of our timeout that will be on the page. So for those trust and believers, wait for that. But girl, you took I don't understand. Like, and I don't know that we fully discussed this actually on the podcast. So let's unpack as I'm actually gonna do like an unboxing of the house paper. Yes, they're Amazon packages. Fuck you all.
Oh,
Um,
so she supports Jeff Bezos, Miss Blue Origin,
yeah, yeah,
Diva.
funding, galactic ventures. And to that I say yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Anyway, I'm Pioneer Peru,
I'm Trailblazer Nick, and this
and this
is
is Pioneers
Pioneers
and
and Trailblazers. Honestly,
Trailblazers.
fuck Lauren Sanchez. Fuck that
Well,
hoe.
listen, we've already discussed Miss Millie Bobby Brown and her particulars. I believe that I'm not here to
I'm sorry, how are
police.
Millie Bobby Brown and Lauren Sanchez
I'm
in the same
about to get
conversation?
there because, like, I
Okay.
don't want to police anyone's bodies or anyone's like affinity for plastic surgery. But I recently saw a photo of Miss
Wait.
Lauren Sanchez
Oh, I
pre.
saw that photo too. I saw that photo too.
I think it was going viral on Miss X, no, or was it
Yes.
Instagram? But
And do you know what else is going viral right now? Are you familiar with Dancing
my
with this
loads,
nasty? Um,
which we'll talk about.
and but undetectable means untransmittable.
Yes.
Period.
Oh, wait. I guess I wasn't even talking about that. But you equals you. We love. I am
Well, you
HIV
said your
negative,
loads
but
were viral. I said, do you know what else is viral? And you said my load.
yeah, but I was thinking in the way of like what's going viral like on TikTok. That's how I received that. And I was like, oh, that's
Well, that's not how it came across, Mama.
comment down below. Comment down below. What do you think my joke, my response to Nick was viral as far as
It sounded like a you equals you joke.
that's I would never joke about that.
Well,
And that's not how I
we'll let the
actually but
townspeople we'll let the townspeople decide in the
tells
comments.
people please comment down below. And when we say comment down below, can y'all step up your pussies up with commenting down below? Listen,
Well,
y'all want this town to grow. So many comments being like, oh, we cannot wait for y'all to blow up to be famous. Well then step your town pussies. There you go. The town pussy. Step the town pussy up and start commenting more on these videos. And then, if you haven't rated us, go ahead because if not, what else we doing? How we get here? Anyway,
so are you familiar with Dancing with the Stars star
yes, I'm
Cheryl
familiar
Burke?
with Bartender with the Stars.
Are you familiar with Cheryl Burke?
The dancer, right?
Yeah, the
She
one
was
of the
one of the
perfect.
main. She's been dancing on it for like forever, right?
Have you seen what she looks like now?
No way. Is this bad that we're having a kiki
Girl,
session
it's
yet
crazy.
again?
And the reason,
Hold on.
so mind you, I don't watch Dancing with the Stars, and like I have not seen this woman
Oh
since
my
I saw
God. The first thing that pops up on Google search is then and now.
because she just did like an Entertainment Tonight interview that popped up on my For You page before we got on
Let
here,
me take a look.
where the interviewer was like, "Have you done Ozempic?" And she goes, "No." "Have you gotten plastic surgery?"
Diva.
She's like, they're like, "Have you gotten plastic surgery?" She goes, "No." And they're like, "Have you done anything?" She goes, "No, I've done nothing to myself." That is not, Ellen, that is not true. That actually,
Ellen,
Ellen,
that is not true.
and like, listen, and oh, and then she was also like, "Do you have some like health thing going on?" And she was like, "No, I'm totally healthy." I do think, I do think, Mama, it is tr trigger warning, an ED situation going on
Oh, it looks ED.
because I went to her Instagram immediately after
And
seeing this
again, we're
TikTok.
not making light of this. We're just actually having honest and open commentary on this.
I listen, as someone who has struggled with an ED
And as
and is
someone who has struggled with binge eating,
and like I'm aware I can see the signs in other people, which I think obviously like I'm not doing that to like be like, ooh, shame this person, because like obviously it's an illness and like it's, people have, you have to really sort of do a lot of self work to sort of get through that, and it's not easy and it never really goes away. But I like saw her because again, like I have not seen this woman since I watched her on TV as a child. And like she was giving very much like round face, like giving like racially ambiguous, like diva
Oh,
down.
okay, I don't know where that came from, but sure.
No, if you look at her old photos of her, it was like she was kind of giving like she
What
was,
does that have anything to do with it?
because she now looks like every single fucking LA white girl.
Oh, I guess that's your point that you're making. Okay.
Because it's like I went to her Instagram and she's like trying to be an influencer now, or maybe she has been for like some time. Again, I don't follow her, but I went and like saw all of her posts and I was like, oh, this girl, like when she would back away and do sort of like a full body shot of like her in an outfit, I was like, this diva clearly has some sort of thing going on behind the scenes that's like a self-image issue,
Yeah.
that is, I'm sure, being bred living in a place like LA.
And I mean, I'm still looking. I have the photos here pulled up next to the our Zoom screen. And listen, you don't have to be a detective on this one and I mean, I also wonder, has she been on the show like the past few years or something? Because then I guess, have
Well,
people seen the progression, or is this just something where like we haven't heard from her in a while, and then now suddenly it's just like, oh, her first interview or whatever, now look at her change.
that I don't know, but I do remember a couple of years ago she was sort of like going viral because she was like rude, or some celebrity or something, I think, called her out for being rude on the show to them or something. And she like
Oh.
made all these videos like trying to like defend her name and stuff. And like even then, like she didn't look like how she looks now. Like she looks different. And I think I think she did that interview to sort of be like, because all, if you go to her Instagram, all of the comments are just like, what happened to you? You look so different. Are you okay? Like, what's going on? And so I think she's trying to shut down those rumors, even though, like, sweetie, like, we have eyes, like, we can see.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because with even shutting down the rumors is just like, well, it's like you're trying to gaslight everyone into thinking that like you're not going through it or whatever it is. Either clearly she lost weight as well, which, do you, mama? But at the same time, it's just like she doesn't look healthy, unfortunately. And also it's kind of scary. Like, no, and yeah, no. And I mean, listen, we wish her the best.
We wish her the best. I hope she gets the mental health care that she desperately needs. And sending her much love. But back to me.
No,
The
but back to with the original topic. We're not just hopping to. Okay, I'm tired of you dominating the last few episodes with your like banter. Okay, I'm gonna tell my
I
stuff.
never finished talking about the trade, about the Instagram post that my Instagram story.
But the reason why we were talking about Cheryl Burke is because I brought up Miss Lauren Sanchez. So how about we wrap up that
Well,
conversation?
because you said
How
you were gonna
about
do it.
you
Oh, because
actually? How
you
about no
mentioned
no
you
no no
wanted.
no no shut the fuck up. I'm talking. How about you? How about you for once think of the things I'm saying and then call them back?
Do
Because
you want to do your
to you,
unboxing, your
you're like,
Amazon
oh, I don't care what
unboxing?
Peru said. I don't care what Peru said, and whatever funny thing you may have wanted, or whatever thing you may have wanted to say. But now it's all back to you. Every road leads back to Nick
Okay,
Rosenthal.
no, I mean, clock it. But
Mm,
do you
mm.
want to finish what you were saying? You said you had
I
an
would I
unboxing.
would love to. I would love to. And
Okay,
then you
then
can
go
go on a
ahead.
and then you can go on a 2 minute tangent on your Instagram story. And then I'm gonna tell my stories first this episode. Because the last few episodes you've gone on telling your stories first. So I wanna do town hall first this episode.
Great,
There you have it.
great.
What I was gonna say about the photo that went viral of Lauren Sanchez is in the same akin to Miss Cheryl Burke. Like th- she was like, and I don't know like at what point like they met. Like, did they meet before she got the work done, or she just got the work done individually and then she met Miss Bezos? Because
I don't really follow their relationship, unfortunately,
me
so I have no
neither, but I
idea.
guess my question about that is like, because sometimes you feel like what you're saying too, because I listen to you, Nick, when you say things.
I
So
listened to my sister as
so
well.
like what you said, like it's you have to blame a little bit of in LA, like the toxic culture of like LA, Hollywood, all that stuff. Right. That's one thing. But like I don't know if Miss Lauren Sanchez was struggling with her image before she came into all the money that she has, because now she has so much money, and like money's the corruptor of so many things. So I don't know if she was just like, oh, now that I have money, I'm just gonna get my face done. Miss Chris Jenner, how have we
I was
not
just
talked
gonna
about Miss
say,
Chris Jenner?
I was just gonna
She
say,
looks good though.
but I'm gonna say, like, if you are like you're partnered with one of the richest men in the world, would you not go to the same surgeon that Miss Kris Jenner went to? Because Kris Jenner looks amazing.
Yeah, but here's the
Unfortunately,
thing. Let's break this
Miss Lauren
down.
Sanchez, you have so much money at your disposal. Why? And listen, I'm not a fan of the work that has been done. I looked at the before photo and I was like, oh, she looks better there. But again, it's brain worms, it's mental illness, it's being on the internet, it's constantly being criticized for how you look by people because you're in the spotlight. Sure. But like again, you have so much money. Why are you not going to the very best?
Yeah, so like the Titina about Miss Chris, because Miss Lauren Sanchez is getting plumped. She's just getting plumped and
And maybe that's what it is. It's the filler. Maybe it's the filler, not a
it's yeah,
facelift.
but Miss Chris is not getting filled. She got an
They
allegedly.
oh mama, they pulled her back tight.
Well, there's a thing. She didn't even get. No, I read this article on this about what she had done or something, or like what the allegedly is that she did the step up to a facelift, because the facelift gives you like all these scars. She did like this one type of facelift that's like not. I don't know what they did, but it's like the step above. This article was claiming that like just one procedure is like $100,000, like just the one. But
And
like
what's it called?
I
Just
don't
for
know what
future
it's
reference.
called, but
For
it was
future
just like it
reference.
wasn't called a facelift. Like they what were we saying?
I said just for future reference for me to
Oh
write it down.
yes, so you can write it down for me, because
Well,
you're
girl,
not getting any work done, girl.
I will. I feel like, listen, if I have money and like, listen, the goal is to be,
Young forever.
on screen. And if I move to LA, listen, the brainworms could rot my brain. You never know. I could maybe want a facelift or
Like
like the
imagine
next
like
step above.
the trajectory, yeah, the one that's up above. Because like I mean, if you have, and clearly Miss Bezos has $100,000 to spare, like just
But
get
yeah,
like a
so it's like,
good procedure.
why is Miss Lauren not doing that? But I will say, I think I would only do Miss Kris Jenner's procedure if I was also at that age and single. Like if I'm trying to fuck. Like I feel like if I just had like my husband and like I have my family and kids and stuff, like I would not be worried about that because I'd be like, I got dick at home, girl. Like he's gonna pound me out. Like we're in our 70s, he's gonna give it to me. But if he were to pass away, and I'm like, oh, this pussy got to get beat. Okay, I was like, we
Yeah,
got.
but like I'm the opposite of you, because like you have like a very like Midwest like all American mentality about like, oh, you want to get like locked down so then you just like live freely in your body and don't work. Like I'm one of those people that like if I'm gonna be with somebody and if I'm dating somebody, I'm like, you trust and believe I'm gonna be the hottest version of myself when I'm with
Oh, I'm
you.
not gonna let myself go. Like I'm still gonna keep the body tight. Like trust I will be keeping myself active. Cause like even now, like going to the gym is like my mental health care. Like
Yeah.
it's like today, like I wasn't planning on going for another run today. I was gonna do the stairs and it was so busy at the gym today. And so the stairs were not available to me. So I was like, you know what? I guess I'll go on
Oh, so
another
now we're on your
run.
story. It seems like, wow,
Well, no, because I
interesting.
still haven't gotten back to the Instagram story,
Okay,
but
great. Let's make sure we get back to that. So you don't
because
tell, so you don't go to
that's
your
what I
town
want to talk
hall.
about.
Okay, great.
But we were finishing your Lauren Sanchez conversation. Thank you
hmm
very much.
hmm I'm listening.
Oh, so I'm just saying
I'm like Seaway.
I just said I went for a run and I wasn't anticipating it. But I would keep my body tight for my man, obviously, because we'd be fucking and obviously he would need to be keeping it tight for me too. Like that's like that's my care to like ensure like the relationship is good. Cause like girl, I want to be fucking and like I want to be seen naked, but like by my man.
Yeah, like and also with like the couples that are aging, you, I I want to I don't want to get too ahead of it, because like I have been blessed with great genetics, obviously, but also like great skin and great everything. I see you laughing for those tells people that cannot see. Also, I don't know why we couldn't figure out the thing about playing both screens. Why is that not the case?
What?
Remember, we were gonna figure out on the Zoom to change the setting to where like the townspeople could see both of our like live screens instead of just
Oh,
a
it gave
glimpse.
me for last week. It gave me the option. I just because I had to edit it and like the editing. So it was. I can. I think I can do it for this next one. So,
Okay, well, townspeople, just so you know, if you're watching both of our cameras
but
live,
I also okay. But I was just gonna say for sorry, business cap on. I was also gonna say last week's episode was better with the speaker view because our reactions. We like it showed both of our reactions to stuff like as it was happening. I don't know. I just thought the timing of it for the
I
last
think that
episode was good.
maybe the timing in a report was better, but I guess what I'm saying for those few people that are like, I missed the in-person ones, we're like, well, would it be better for them to be able to see us both at the same time, just like they do when we're like, laying next to each other? So anyway, just so you know, we're keeping a pulse on the town and what the town likes and what the town is here. Oh my God, not Dr. Pepper.
Diet mama.
It's still bad for you, but it's fine. It's fine. Small strides, with Miss Nick. It's good that now. Well, you've always done Diet Coke and Diet Pepsi, so it's not even an upgrade
Yeah.
for
And
you.
I had a large Diet Coke with lunch today. So this
Oh
is my
my
second
God,
soda.
girl's gonna
And then
catch up to you. Just
I'm
you're
going
gonna
to a
mark my words, it'll catch up to you.
I'm going to a movie tonight, so you best believe I'm gonna get another large Diet Coke.
And popcorn.
I don't think I'm gonna do popcorn because like I don't want to have like bubble guts because I also douched when I showered because I think I'm gonna try to have Trade to come over tonight.
Well, you famously tried to have trade yesterday, and we
And
were
they were all,
attempting.
oh my God, just fucking. It's like that. Have you seen that tweet of that like picture of that? Like it's a cartoon of like a girl in a bikini and there's like a group of three guys behind her. And like the caption to it is like, here she is thinking she's freshly caught tilapia, but it's actually her tuck slipping and Trade's playing in her face. Like that's what it felt like Trade was playing in my face last night because I I was trying so desperately to have. I was trying to get like dick last night because I douched before Miss Peru and I. We'll get into. We like went out or whatever, had a
I
night.
guess we're getting into it now. Might as well because
Well,
at
I
least
guess
we
it goes
get.
into my Instagram story too, which we'll eventually circle back to because I'm
Oh,
desperate to
so
talk
then
about
Nick
it.
is getting what he wants and just talking about what he wants on this podcast. Great. So I don't get to start my story.
Well, what was your story?
No, we can continue.
Oh, okay. Well, so anyway, so I douched before we met up because we got drinks because Miss Peru, we like chatted and we were like, oh, like neither of us. Well, you had plans, but then they changed,
Okay.
and so then we decided to get drinks in the West Village. So I was like, you know what? I had a lot of men prior to me going out hitting me up being like, "Hey, like you want to fuck tonight?" And I was like, "Yes." So I was lining some things up, obviously multiple in case they were to drop off like flies, which they did. And so then we meet up, we get drunk, we have a lovely chit chat, hang out, we go to Monster, we then go to
We
Julius.
went to Monster. Shout out to that twunk who was across from us with the Nantucket t-shirt. Was it Nantucket
No, it
or
was Dartmouth.
Dartmouth? Not Dartmouth. There was y'all. There was this like typical Peruse vibe down.
It was a muscle white man.
It was no, but he wasn't. But he wasn't just like a. He was a muscly twunk. Like he was on the younger
He was a
side.
jock. He wasn't a
He was like
twonk.
he was jockey, yeah, but he wasn't like a muscle like Hell's Kitchen gay. He was more like a jockey, is going to school or like just graduated kind of vibes. But then he
No, he
was with.
didn't look just graduated. Also, wasn't he like 27 according to his grinder profile?
Oh my God, yeah, because we found it. Fuck, you're so right. I think it is Adele. Yes, yes, yes.
He probably went to Dartmouth like fucking 5, 7 years ago, but
Okay,
he
whoa. But then the funny part was like, because they were across from us, and then at first he was at the bar with this older daddy, who then were like, oh my God, for sure, like that's his sugar daddy or just his daddy, or like he's just. We were trying to figure out like, okay, is he fucking a
well,
daddy
because
or is it that?
they came in together and they were like kind of touchy with each other, and then I like when you went to the bathroom, I was sort of like clocking it. I was like, okay,
Well, I
interest.
clocked him first.
I saw them walk in.
Oh, you did, but you didn't say
Yeah.
anything. I'm the one who was just like, look at that
Well, that's
guy.
because he's not my type, so I wasn't gonna be like, oh my God, look.
But the daddy though was your type.
I would, but the daddy was giving like he was living for the jock, and
Yeah, of
which
course,
obviously
of
if for the
course.
visual learners, we're not giving that these days.
For the visual learners,
So
you're
I was like,
fully aware of Nick's presentation as of late.
right. So that was not what I was giving. I was getting looks from people last night, but it wasn't ever, and none of it was sexual.
No, we always get looks wherever we go.
Well, of course, because I'm so gorgeous. Obviously, everyone was like, "Oh my God, stunning bone
Uh-huh.
structure and
But
beautiful
then,
hair."
okay, but then the daddy was there, and then at one point I was trying to figure out who was putting their card down because then at one point Dartmouth guy looked like he was pulling his card out of his wallet, and then I was like, wait, like why is he paying if he's with his daddy? So then we were just having fun figuring it out. So then I go on Grinder to see if he's like, no, 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 no. Then they both leave, and then
They
we're like,
leave. They after one drink, they left, and we're like, "Okay, so it's time. They're gonna go fuck now." And then he's like gonna pay for his drink with his ass, and then because also Prue was trying to be like, "Oh, the Dartmouth one's the top," and I was like, "I don't think so." Sure enough, we find the Grinder profile. He's a verse bottom, so he is not topping that old man. That old man was getting up in those hairy cheeks. You best believe.
but it was so funny because okay, so he was on Grinder and they were like, "Oh my God, he's here!" And and I was like, did I even hit him up? I forgot. I don't think that I did.
I don't remember.
We got caught up in conversation,
Well,
but
no, we
then,
got caught up because the bartender fucked up our drinks.
oh my God, let's talk. Let's get in this gig. Okay, listen, we have seen this bartender at Monster Bar, and yes, we're gonna be doxing the bar where we're at because for those New York City townspeople, if y'all want to do like a tour of like Pioneers and Trailblazers lore, you'll go to Monster Bar and trust and believe you'll find this one specific bartender. He's got like
Okay, well, we're not gonna let's not describe him physically, but we'll just say it's the bartender at Monster.
there's a bartender with long hair.
Okay, we're
I'll
not
say
gonna.
that.
Okay, it's just a bartender, one of the
That's it.
bartenders at
That's it. That's
Monster.
it. And every time I've been there and that I've had this bartender is always like, and I see them, I guess, for lack of like, I don't want to like misgender anybody, but I always see them interact with other patrons at the bar, and then like I guess for like for me not to get tangled up, like I'll just keep using the pronoun them. So anytime that they turn back to me and I order something, they're always like very visual learners. This is for you, but if you're just listening to this, I guess you're gonna have to look because there's no way to describe like how they just look at me. But it's like this. So like Nick, like order a drink.
Can I get a frozen marg?
It's like that's always the vibe. It's always like slightly condescending, but not rude enough to like feel like why is this bitch being rude to me? And then every time, like something's off, like the drink is never the same. The first round is so then we come back. We have and Nick and I have already had this bartender once before, I believe. And it was the same. We were on the opposite side of the bar and it was the same thing where like just very like not even dismissive, but not fully paying attention, not finding us charming at all, except like they're finding everybody else charming, it seems, at the freaking bar. And at this point, this person's already seen me a few times. So when I sat down, because Miss Nick was walking over from a different street, I made the point when they acknowledged me, they're like, hey, I was like, hey, nice to see you. Just to like make sure that we have that rapport. Like, I remember you. I recognize you as a solid figure at this bar. And then just like, again, like, I was like, nice to see you. And they're like, walks away. I'm like, okay, here we are. Nick
So,
comes.
oh,
He,
so I come. We have a frozen margarita, which is just easy because they just pull it from the machine.
and
But
well, it's yummy. It's not one of those like nasty frozen. It's a good frozen there. It's a
no,
good frozen
I do like their and
recommendation.
it gets me fucked up. Last year for Pride when we went there, and it was like the two of us. I can't remember. It was like before we met up. It was what was it? When did we go? When did we go there? I
We
can't.
went there together one time during the afternoon because I remember we were sitting on the opposite side of the bar.
Yeah, and that was when we had him and that or them, and that's when we like went. It was Pride, and then I got so fucked up. I think I did like three or four of those margaritas. But so then anyway, so after the first round of drink, we're like, okay, let's get another one, and then we decided we want to do a vodka martini with a twist, and so so Peru orders that, and then the bartender's like. okay. And like,
Exactly. See, not even like, and again, it's just like looking at us, but then just eyes almost like glazed over. Like I'm
but then all of
just
a sudden we're watching as the bartender is like making the drinks, and then all of a sudden has the two martini glasses in front of us, and then drops olives into them, and then we both are like, oh. Do we say something? And then they pour the first one, the first glass. And then I was like, oh no. And then they pour the second one and then they push it to us and they're like, okay, that's gonna be 28. And then me and Peru were like, oh, are we gonna say? And then Peru's like, I don't want a dirty martini. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna just say like we already have this interaction with them where every time like we like chat with them, it seems like they hate us. So it's like,
yes.
so I don't want to be like, hey, we didn't ask for that, and like just make it awkward and weird
But the thing
already.
is, like, it was funny too because we were in the middle of one of our always vibrant conversations. So we're like literally like shooting back and forth, Nick and I, and then the glasses are brought over, and then they start. But we literally stopped talking when we saw
Oh, we
the
went dead
olives,
silent. We went
like
dead silent.
bloop, and then you know that bitch felt it too. But then they didn't even want to acknowledge it because then at that point, like, even if they remembered that the order was different, because Nick hurt me, I said two vodka martinis with a twist. Like, if they remembered, then it would be too late to back out now because clearly they just don't care for us. So they're just going to roll with it. And then we kept trying to talk still, but we couldn't
We
get
couldn't pay
our
attention because
eyes
we
off
were
of the
so nervous.
martini.
We were so nervous about the drinks, and then eventually we tried the drinks, and it was fine. They were vodka martinis, but they just put a olive in them or whatever.
Yeah.
They just didn't hear the twist or whatever. So we did two drinks there, and then we moved to Julius, did a vodka martini with a twist, a real one
Yeah.
at
Shout out
Julius.
to Morrow. We love Morrow
Shout out. We
at
love
freaking
Julius. We
Julius.
love the crew there. They're so lovely and amazing. But the whole time I was trying to get dick. And like at while we were at Monster, there were like a couple of dudes in the West Village that like had hit me up and they were like, oh, like I'm down, like whatever. None of them could host. I was like, oh, they're like, you looking? And I was like, yeah, like I'm looking for a little bit later. Like I'm having a drink right now with a friend. You host? And all of them were like, oh, I can't. And I'd be like, "Oh, okay." I was like, well, I don't live in the neighborhood. I live in Brooklyn. Like, I'm not gonna, So I was like, I was so annoyed.
Do
And then
you remember to on Sniffies? Do you remember to change? Because I always forget, and I needed to be brought up to my attention by one Sniffies user, cruiser, because usually when I'm in my neighborhood, I host. Like, I mean, I travel, but I can I depending on when I'm at, and then if I'm going to like the West Village, obviously I cannot host. But then that little door icon follows you wherever you go. So then when someone sees you, even when you're moving, they
I
just
don't
think
have it
you can
marked that I'm
host.
hosting ever.
Huh?
I don't have it marked that I host.
Okay, well that's happened to me when I was in the West Village, and this one dude was just like, "Hey, so like when can I come over?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just in the area." And then he was like, "LOL," but it says you're hosting, and I was like, "T, you're right, you're not
See,
wrong."
someone messaged me today. The girl, the men of Brooklyn. This man messages me. He sends me his dick pic. I'm fully on my walk to the gym this morning, and I like send him my ass photo or whatever. And he's like, okay, like you want to. He's like, you hosting right now? And I was like, oh, I'm almost to the gym. I can host in like an hour and a half. And then he goes, oh, and then he just goes, okay. I'm just gonna go find someone else then. And then I just like didn't respond. And then he sends a follow-up message being like, maybe don't be on Sniffies if you're not actually looking for right now. I was like, bitch. I was like, girl, relax, relax. And then
Damn,
I
she
put
was mad at you. She was ready to put it out,
but that's like
girl.
the thing. It's like that's what I've been coming up against. Like I men will hit me up and I'm like, well, I'm not looking right now. I'm like looking for later. Like I'm more of a planner. Like I'd rather like have whatever. And like a lot of them, especially the ones that have like hit me up are looking for right then, right there. Like they want to get their dick sucked right now. Like they want like you hosting, I'll be there. Like I'll drive over. I have a car and like whatever. And I'm like, no. Like I would rather plan something. Like I have my own schedule. Like I'm doing my own thing. And then they get butt hurt. And then this has been happening. Did I tell you this? That I matched with two separate dudes on Hinge. The only two matches that I've had in like 2 months off this goddamn app. And the guy messages me and he was like, oh, this was like last weekend, which was like Memorial weekend. So it was like a long weekend and stuff. and he like messaged me or whatever, and he was like, "Oh, I don't actually live in Brooklyn." He was like, "I just got back home to Minnesota." He was like, "I was visiting family that lives in Brooklyn," and he's like, "But I come and visit all the time." But up until this point, we were like chit chatting and stuff, and like I was pretty responsive. But then as soon as I saw that he like heard that he doesn't live here and he's not here currently, I'm like, "Well, I'm not gonna be as responsive now because like also like who." You're not available. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then when I didn't, and so he messaged me and I waited, I like got busy at home or whatever, took a shower or something. So like an hour had passed. I go back to my fucking like my messages. He unmatched me because I didn't respond fast enough. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with these men? I was
I
like,
know.
Yo,
Well,
where is the patience?
yeah, because it also happens like, when, well, I mean, same thing that you were saying, basically, like when I go and refresh Sniffies from like not being on it for like a few hours, then you see that people like you can see somebody hit you up, but then they deleted their own conversation they started, because I guess they just
Yeah.
felt like you didn't respond fast enough. And I'm like, you're not thinking, like you're not using you're using your dick head, you're not using your
But also
head.
just like, yeah, but
Battle of
also
Ebb, you're using your dick head. You're not using your head because then you would know that if you really wanted me, then you would wait for me to see your images so then I could have them and then we can do something at some other time. Like unless you're
and like
like
also you
dying.
trying to rush me is not gonna get me like that does not turn me on. Like that's just like makes me like I'm not interested then if you're just like in a rush or whatever. So like I did have to change my like bio on Sniffies to be like not in a
Not always
rush.
looking.
No, I just have it as not in a rush. Cause it's true, I'm not. So it's like whatever.
And
And
then
then
your grinder mama was it. I am like so normal.
I'm so normal, yeah. Um, but no, because I will say I did get red at work the other day because there are two gay gentlemen that I work with and we were talking about sniffies and stuff and then I was like, yeah, all these dudes are like trying to rush me and getting upset at me when I'm like not looking right now. And they're like, well, you are on the apps that are like meant for like hooking up. They're like, so it is kind of on you. And I was like, no, these men are impatient. Like there are plenty of nice guys out there that will take their time to try to fuck this puss. Okay. But
Well,
so then anyway, no trade was had. So then I was annoyed. And then we decided that we're gonna go home because it's late. And then I made Peru take photos of me in the street. Because I was feeling myself. I felt really good yesterday. My outfit was cute, it was very coordinated. And so then Peru was taking photos of me. And then there were like two girls that were drunk that walked past us and they're like, yes, bitch, I love you. And I was like, yes, girl, which was so fucking funny. And then, so I posted a photo. If you follow me on Instagram, nicholas.rose, I posted one of the photos on my story. And on my way home, I'm on the train. Literally, as soon as we parted ways, I'm not even kidding, Peru. I like walked down the steps to the train and the A is just approaching. And I was like, oh my God, God is so good. God is on my side. So I get on the train and I'm like, I posted the photo or whatever. Almost immediately, my Instagram crush liked the story, and then he slid into my DMs. And do you want to know what he said?
what?
Smash. And so then
Wait, which Instagram crush?
wait, let me send it to you. He's so hot. We talked on Grinder like a long ass time ago, and then we follow each other on Instagram. Oh,
Oh, what?
who is sending me a happy late birthday? Someone just DM'd me happy late birthday. Babe, my birthday was 5 months ago. Um,
Hold on. I
wait,
haven't gotten it yet.
because I'm sending it to you. Just hold on.
On Insta or text?
I'll text you his Instagram.
Okay.
But he has been posting so many like gym photos recently of like him like getting his bulk on, and I
Hmm.
like am literally foaming at the mouth any sort of time I see him post. Um, and so I'll like his photos like every now and again.
Wait, you've never shown me this person.
Well, because like we haven't like really he and I haven't really talked. Like we talked.
But how have you met this person?
I just said you don't listen to me.
No,
Wow.
I was looking at the profile you
My
sent me.
sister who just fucking shamed me for not
I
listening to
was
her didn't
looking
listen
at
to me
something
when
you
I said how I
sent
met this
me.
man.
I was looking
Wow.
at something you sent me. So I wasn't fully
Wow.
listening. I was just because he's hot.
No, he's so hot. We met
Like
on
I
Grinder.
would. Like
We
why
met on
have you?
Grinder.
Oh, that's why you haven't introduced me to him because you're afraid I'm gonna snatch him.
No, but he lives. He lives. And so he and I like we do the thing where we like each
You
other.
still haven't told me how you guys met.
Grinder. I've said
Okay,
it three
Grinder.
times.
Right, like a while back.
Yeah, like months and months ago. Like
Oh, okay.
I think we've been following each other on Instagram for like almost a year now. Because he doesn't live in the city. He lives in Jersey. But he so he has a best friend who he like posts on his Instagram story all the time, who tried to fuck me and who also who goes to my gym. I think he moved, so I don't think he goes to my gym anymore. But
Hmm.
his friend, also a top, was like really trying to smash. And then I just like wasn't into it. Like he's hot, like his but I would honestly I'd let them both take me to Paris. But like his friend, I just like wasn't as into.
Take you to
And
Paris.
then
They wouldn't even take you to Jersey.
but so his
I
friend
love it.
Paris, yeah.
They wouldn't even take you to Jersey.
So he would be in Bushwick all of the time or whatever. And so I think that's how he found me, was because he was like hanging out with his friend one night, and like it was and, like, his friend used to live in my neighborhood because I don't think he does anymore. And so he like messaged me or whatever, and he was like, yeah, like I don't live in the city anymore, like I just moved back home, I'm like with my parents for a period of time. He's like, but I'm in Jersey. And I was like, okay. And we like talked about that for a while and like whatever. And then we eventually just like followed each other on Instagram, and then it sort of like fizzled out or whatever because he never like really made plans with me to hang. So now I've just been like watching him and sort of just like foaming at the mouth, being like, I need that dick, even though
But
I've
then why
never.
don't you make a move?
Well, so then last night he sends me my story and goes smash, and then I go whenever you want, BB. And then he responded, he was like, really? And like the devil emoji. And I was like, time and place. And then he said something and then whatever. And he's like, well, we have been talking for a while. And I was like, yeah, so it's about time that we hang out. He read it and didn't respond. But but we've laid down the groundwork. And I was like, ugh, yes. And then some other trade that I'm not going to talk about on here did respond to my Instagram story as well. So they're living for that photo.
Well, you should credit me next time then. If you're gonna have such success, you're gonna have to make an addendum and say photo credit to my sister.
It's not the
Because
photo,
guess
mama.
what?
It's definitely the subject of the photo is what's doing
No,
the
it's also the
numbers.
artistic, but like the whole like flashing and like from
Right.
whatever.
But also who was the creative director? Me, mama. I had to direct you on how to photograph
No,
me.
but well, I guess you're a horrible director then, because then when it was your time to take a couple snaps of me, they were awful. So
I thought they
awful,
were
in fact,
cute.
that they were disgusting. I looked awful. I looked terrible. I looked tired, and I
Well,
looked.
actually, I'm sorry. I have no control of how the subject looks. I only have
Yeah,
control
you
of how
could
the
try to
photo's
make me
taken.
look better. That's what I do with you.
I don't think so because some of those photos you took of me absolutely rancid.
Honestly, most people can never take a candid or like a cute photo of me. Like I don't know what it is about me. I don't think I'm that photogenic unless I'm in a photo shoot, and like I know how to pose. Like I know how to be in a photo shoot setting, but I'm just not a candid photo kind of girl. As much as I've tried in my life, I just cannot get, everyone has like, oh, candid of like you on vacation in Greece. Oh, you candid of you at the picnic. Oh, you candid before like you dropped your fork in the restaurant and your like partner just snapped a candid photo of you looking great. Like I'm just
No,
not.
this is my candid. This is my candid. I'm like, ooh,
But I'm a
wait.
great poser, which is why like all my Grinder and Sniffy's photos are a hit. But I just cannot get candidates, and it
No,
was it was
I'm a good selfie taker. And when it comes to other people taking photos of me, I do sort of have to like direct
I
them
I
properly.
can't. I can't. Well, I need to direct you better, I guess, because you shot me not even from an angle. You shot me like straight out, and I looked. Not the composition awful. You couldn't even like the toaster
Actually,
was
Ellen,
not the
that's not true. I remember looking at those photos and I was like, and
Ellen.
yes,
I
maybe
saw
I
both.
was drunk.
It was so bad that
Maybe I was
I had to
drunk, but I
make it
don't think
into a
that's true.
boomerang to have like a story on my algorithm there. I was like, oh, whatever. I'll make retro. We'll try to bring back the boomerang. I made it into a boomerang because it looked kind of fun,
I
and I
don't
was
think
like,
boomerangs are back, babe.
what?
I don't think boomerangs are back.
I know, but I just said I'm trying to, I'll make it less cringe. I was like, whatever. I'll intentionally boomerang, instead intentional boomerang.
Right,
How about
right,
that?
right, right,
Anyway,
right.
well, by the time you're the townspeople, well, I guess depends. Maybe we'll see. But so just for the townspeople to know, by the time you're listening or watching this, my show White Savior at Joe's Pub already
Is
occurred.
that a
So
grind? Is that a weed grinder?
no, it's my hair putty.
Oh, it literally looks like a grinder.
No, it's not.
I was
It'll
like,
be
since
it'll
when
be
do
a
you,
that'll be a big grinder, bitch.
girl, listen, they make up, they come in literally all sizes. I was like, damn, bitch, okay, since when do you smoke?
Yeah. Oh, because then you'd be over at my place every fucking weekend, bitch. I know how you love your friends to bake you up, bitch. Because you tell me all the time, yeah, you want to be kept and baked, bitch. I know you well.
Kept
Kept and
and
baked,
baked.
title of app. But anyway, but for town council today, like it's me. I'm pressed for time. Like I have to head to a rehearsal for my show right after this midtown because I have a studio space. So I can't record town council assembly right after this. But for everyone who's a town council member, and if you aren't, join us on our Patreon. Oh, and by the way, actually, let me mention this on here. Reminder to everybody that if you are trying to get on our Patreon on because we've had actually this past week a lot of new members to our Patreon town council assembly members and trust and believers. Pause up for those people. Pause
Shout
up.
out.
But if you're considering if you have the time, do it through the desktop because it won't charge you those crazy Apple fees, like the Apple Pay fees. And like, you know, when you go on there, I don't want you to be surprised and be like, oh my God, like, why is this so high? It's because like they're also adding an Apple Pay fee on it or whatever. So just go on the desktop on Patreon if you can, or if you can afford it, whatever, just pay the fee or whatever. But
If
anyway,
money's no object to you, like Miss Lauren Sanchez and Jeff Bezos.
yeah, then please feel free to just pay plus the Apple fee. But I would say like don't fucking pay Apple. Like fuck them. Just go on the Patreon website on the desktop and then sign up to our tiers there. Anyway, so for town council, we're actually going to do a special town council assembly. We're going to record on Monday, which is the day right after the show. Now, by the time a lot of you are getting this, that probably will be out already. But just so those people know, it's going to be a special edition. So if you're considering maybe on that's what we're not talking about like what happened on the show because it hasn't happened yet. We're recording this beforehand. But if you want to know all the particulars and fun stuff, like all the behind the scenes gossip and like me and Nick obviously getting into a fight at some point, I'm sure. And then
God,
what
I hope
happens?
not.
I hope
Jeez.
not. We never got into a fights working together. Well, we've got into a fights. Well, we've got into plenty of fights. Anyway.
Yeah, we've gotten into plenty of fights, trust.
But then if you also want to hear what we us and the girls did afterward the show, because we're definitely gonna go out and like hang out, sign up to the Patreon. The link is in the bio of everywhere that we have content on. Anyway, I'm gonna slowly but surely start opening some of these boxes because I ordered like I have like 6 boxes coming in today that of stuff that I ordered for the show, and like I don't know what these three first ones are, so I'm just gonna start like opening it up and then making slight commentary on them while Nick tells us his town hall, unless he already told us his town
Well, that
hall.
was like to my town hall. The other thing is I've been on an eBay shopping spree,
Oh
which
my
has
god, all of
been
us are into shopping. Well, I mean, this is for my show, but you show me those cute, it's like ballerina slippers you got.
I did. I got some. So there were a pair of these like little sort of like leather flats that I thought were really cute because I've been like needing a new pair. I've been needing a closet revamp. And so I'm obviously trying to do that in like the most affordable way. And so I have a bunch of leftover fabric that like not like a leftover fabric. I just took a bunch of unused fabric in my apartment that I've had for literally years that I've never touched.
Yeah, our last year you bought that pattern that you have still yet to make a dress out of or anything out of.
Well, no, no, no. I like it's well because I did because I had to alter the pattern and I had to resize it, which took me much longer than I would have liked. And then I started it, and then my grandma died. So then I was like, oh, actually, you know what? I'm not gonna work
Ipsy.
on this. I'm actually not gonna work on this. And then when I came back from the funeral and stuff, I just like didn't continue on because then I was busy doing other stuff. But I bought a couple of patterns, because I'm like I need to use this fabric that I have at home and because I do want to fix up my closet and like get rid of stuff and then try to go to Beacons and sell it or whatever. Um, because like right now I'm not really inspired, and I've been really like into playing dress up before work of like figuring out outfits that are cute, like really sort of like being intentional about the look that I'm going with for the day instead of just
Mm-hmm.
like dressing for like comfort or whatever. Like I'm like I want to have fun with what I'm wearing. So I lowballed a bunch of bitches on eBay because like I'm sorry, they are posting first of all these bitches are posting these vintage patterns on their eBays, and they are you literally originally when they were sold in like the fucking 70s, you see in the corner that they sold for 75 cents. Okay, I get it, inflation, but why the hell are you trying to charge $15 for a fucking like vintage pattern that you, first of all, will never use? You just have it because you're just trying to make money off of it. And then also like again, like why are you upselling it so much? So I lowballed
I
so
mean,
many.
it also depends though, because some people are said a lot of people sell out of necessity, and other people just sell for the game, I'm sure. So it's like the people who are not like desperate for like the money, then they're just like, okay, this is what I want for this, and they'll just wait, I guess.
Right, but that's like all these eBay sellers because like they have tens of thousands of reviews. So it's like that's just what their job is that they just resell shit on eBay, which is like sure, make your living how you make your living. But I do have a problem with the girlies. Like, and the same thing goes for like the girlies who go to thrift shopping and then upsell clothes for like an astronomical price, which I I used to do. Okay, listen, crucify me. During the pandemic, I loved me doing that. But that's also because it was the pandemic and everyone was stuck at home and they're just buying shit because they have so much random, unemployment money. So but but it is like sort of fuck those bitches. Because one of my favorite belts that I have, some bitch on Depop listed for like $30. And I was like, that belt is so cute, but I'm not going to spend $30 on a belt. A couple of weeks later, I found it at a Goodwill for $2, the exact same belt. Okay.
Which, by the way, recently I went to the Goodwill on Chelsea. Well, I guess
I,
like what
I
like
hate
that.
that one.
No, but let me tell you, that's where I found. If anyone who follows me at Hey Peru and anyone who came to my Joe's Pub show, my opening number outfit slash the red outfit that I've been using for promotions for the show.
Mm-hmm.
That like red velvety, like sorry, that red silky like top. I found there for like $10, and it's so cute. And then the freaking and they're right over here. These like snake fucking this snake.
Right.
Let me show them to people.
But that's my thing. It's like with the Goodwills in the city, they have raised their prices so much, and so much of the stuff that's in there is sort of like fast fashion. And not saying that like obviously the stuff that you got is, but and those are the boots. They're cute. Come on, boot.
Guess what? Guess what? How much you think I paid for these?
You already told me, but I forgot.
Well, then try guess again. Everyone tells people, visual learners, look, these are like fucking thigh
$20.
high, like knee high, like snake print, like
$20.
what?
$20.
17.
I was close.
$17 for these. And like I don't care like I mean how much they originally were, but they definitely weren't like anything beyond this was us cheaper than $50, you know?
Yeah, I think, and I like this my style. I love like true vintage, and so it's like,
No, no, yeah, of course. You don't want to just like buy resold ASOS or whatever. Like you
yeah, like
you
so,
want
like,
to
and
get
I and
something
I
that's
think,
actually vintage.
and so like the problem that I have with the Goodwills in the city these days is that it's mostly like ASOS,
Same
H&M.
thing with Buffalo Exchange.
Right. Like, and that's why I don't go to Buffalo. So like I really love to go to like these tiny ass like thrift stores that are like mom and pop shops and like whatever, because I want to get something that's like good quality and like also not an astronomical price. Um, so but I also don't want to spend a bunch of money on clothes. So I have the ability to sew. So I'm like, I'm gonna, I think, sort of delve into that gig this summer. So I lowballed these two bitches for these two different patterns. And the first one immediately took it. I went, oh, I was like, bitch, you're weak as fuck. She's not even gonna try to fight. I was like, girl, I said good. I established my dominance and I won. The other eBay seller was a fucking pain in the ass because mind you, she listed it for $7 or like 750 or something. I lowballed her at 450. And then she like counter offered me $6. And I said, absolutely the hell not. So I countered offered 50 cents more and did five. And then she took it, but it took her so long. She immediately counter offered me. And then for her to accept my $5 offer, she waited a fucking hour.
Well, she made
And
you sweat, bitch.
I wasn't sweating. I was because you know what I do? What I love about eBay is like specifically with like vintage patterns, if somebody is selling a pattern, a specific pattern that I want, you can always just look up the pattern number and you'll find multiple listings of other people who are
Mm-hmm.
selling the exact same thing and sometimes at a cheaper price. So I was like if this bitch is not going to sell it to me for 450, I will then try to lowball somebody else for the exact same thing. Like I was like I'm not hurting for it. But anyway, so I ordered these leather shoes because I also need to revamp my shoe game because like I just like want a nicer pair of dress shoes that I can just like wear to like work and stuff. And I found these shoes that were like super cute, but they are women's. And I was like, oh, they're not my size. And I was like, I wonder if this brand even makes shoes that I could wear. So I go to their website. It's like an Australian brand or something. And they do, by the grace of God, they do make shoes up to size 12, which is what I am in women's. And but they like retail for 170, $180, and then the size 12 shoes were all sold out. So then I was like, oh, so like, and I wasn't gonna spend that much on them anyway. I was like, they're cute, but they're not that cute. So then I go to eBay and I look up the name, like the design name of the shoe to see if I can find all the listings for it. And lo and behold, I found a listing for the exact pair of shoes that I wanted in my size for $30.
Wait.
And they were
What?
like and they looked like brand new and I was they essentially are brand new like the listing was like never worn like whatever. And so then I was like, wait, but why are they pricing it at $30? Like, what's wrong with them? Like, is this like a scam seller or something? And so I like went through the seller stuff and like was reading the reviews and they were all like legitimate reviews and like they had like thousands of them. So I was like, okay. So they have been shipped. I get them on Tuesday. They will be in delivered. So I'm excited. And I hope they fit. I'm crossing my fingers.
Well, she who searches finds. So congratulations on that.
And that's what I
Um,
love. That's what I love about eBay specifically is like the
mm-hmm.
hunt. I love
Yeah.
and that like thrifting just in general. It's like when you find something that's like good, like like really sort of like I feel accomplished now. Like I'm like, oh, I did all this work to get that. So like it
Hmm.
makes it makes the purchase, even though like I don't love spending money on especially like on clothes, like I especially when I'm like living paycheck to paycheck, like like I
We
just,
get it.
you know, I did, but it feels like I actually like the investment has paid off. And I'm sorry,
Right.
maybe the townspeople want to hear about it, maybe because they're in the same place because girl the tariffs.
It's okay. It's okay. Just we're here we are again with like 10 minutes left in the episode and I have, barely any chance to talk, but it's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, you've talked quite a bit.
Anyway, townspeople, for those who want to know my town hall, oh, I like how just Nick decides to then completely leave the frame and leave his room when I want to talk.
I'm like, oh, it's your turn to speak.
Interesting.
I'm going. I gotta go. Bye.
Interesting. Well, um, I've kind of have been like nuts. I guess, and like, see, this is a tough part with like having like all of our personal stuff out here because like there's something I want to say. Maybe I'll save it for like the town council, the specifics of it. But I guess it's fair to say that like maybe the predictions were true, by some of our really loyal townspeople that have been commenting on my sexual position era that's been happening lately. Because just and let me just say this for the record, let the record state in this town. This is exclusive to the sex apps and the hookup apps. This is nothing to do with what I want in a relationship or what I'm looking forward to being or what
Girl,
I
the first step is acceptance. We just gotta move on from the denial stage,
no no
please.
no
Why
no
are
no no
we
no
in
no no no. I
denial?
know and I will repeat what I said last episode. The man I date, at least at first, or the ideal scenario, I do not want to be, you know what? I want to say it. I don't want to be in a verse relationship. I don't. Being in a
Why
verse
not
relationship
though?
does
Why not?
because I fucking Yeah, because that's what I fucking want, Nick. Like, I don't need to
No,
explain to
but like I
people
mean,
why not.
if you really had to ask yourself, like, what is it about that that you're
I'm because I would rather be in like a verse bottom, verse top relationship. That's my ideal relationship, if not exclusively top bottom. Because as much as I've been experimenting, as much as I've been having fun fucking guys, as much as I have officially updated my hookup apps to verse just regular,
okay, 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 okay.
as much as that has happened, I think my common thread with me as a person on this podcast and in life is that like I really do have a talent, and I'm gonna say a talent because not everyone really can do this, and I know I can, and I know myself, and I know this is one of my many talents. I am able to separate like hooking up and sex to what I want in a relationship. Like to me, I know Nick has a different relationship with that, but we've talked about this since last season. Like it's not an issue for me. And so now what I'm realizing as I'm exploring just my sexuality in general is that like those things have like changed and like metamorphosized into whatever they are and wherever they are right now. But like here on this other side still stands what I am interested in, like a romantic relationship. And that's also to say that like not only have I had this development in my sexual life, which is, just like officially changing that just to see what kind of like things arise. And this week, trust and believe, I've, kind of like interacted with people that normally probably would never interact with. And at the same time, I had a big epiphany this year. And this is something that my sister Nick also knows, that like I kind of realized this week that really I'm like I really want to be in a relationship. Like I really like I think I'm ready for love. Like I'm ready for love. I'm ready for love. And I'm ready to receive it. I'm ready to give it, and like
But not
that's
give dick in it.
no, no. And so that's been of an interesting thing because of like X, Y, and Z reasons. I find myself like really excited for the for that. Like I feel like I'm excited to just be ready for love. But like I know that in a relationship that's just not something that I don't I my ideal romantic relationship is gonna be a separate sexual dynamic than the one that I have with just men that I'm hooking up with.
Can I ask a question though?
I know the question is gonna be like, why are you closing yourself? It's I'm not.
No,
I
it's not.
just
That's not the question. I'm like, what is it about the idea of being in a reverse relationship that you find so adverse? Besides just the fact of
because
this,
the kind of men that I want, like that I'm attracted to, and I want to be in a relationship with, and that I want to date, like that they're not the like that's it's just I don't know how to explain it. Like
that seems like a projection, though.
how I know that
There are
that
plenty of verse men out there that are like your type of the kind of person that you would want to like be in a relationship and have sex with.
yeah, but like the type of men I don't think you let me finish. The type of men that I want to be in a relationship with and that I want to date. Like I don't want that kind of man to I don't want to fuck that kind of guy. I want them to fuck me. Does that make sense? Because it is part of what I'm looking for in like that romantic dynamic. Like in a romantic dynamic, in a dating dynamic, like for a boyfriend or a husband or a partner, like what I'm looking for is someone who wants to fuck me, not that wants to be fucked by me. Like
Sh
that doesn't take away from the fact that like of course,
but
like we'll
what
we'll
would
have
that
fun with it,
mean?
like we'll have fun like with my ex-boyfriend like too. Like one time I was like, should I fuck you? And then like I tried fucking him and it was like this is kind of silly. It was like, okay, whatever,
But
we tried it.
what does that mean? What does it mean to you if God forbid? And I know we had this conversation a little bit last time, but like, what about the idea of you fucking your partner, your lover? What does that do to you personally? Like clearly, like it makes you feel a very particular kind of way, but you're not really answering the question. You're just more so saying like, oh, like the guys that I want, like I don't, they don't do that. But like, to like really sort of like therapy moment, like kind of get down into it. Like clearly you're having a reaction to that idea and it like makes you feel a certain way. And like I'm just so curious as what that feeling is tied to, besides just this preconceived idea of like what it is that you want.
I think it's tied to who I see my like what I see myself as in a relationship. And I see myself like as the girl, like as the one who I want to be
Girls get on
taken care
top.
of.
Girls peg. Girls get a strap. You know what I mean? And I understand where you're coming from.
True,
I understand where you're
true.
coming from, but also like you have not
Well, I guess
been
I would have to cross that bridge if I get to it.
right. And I don't think you should close yourself off to something just because it's doesn't fit this ideal of what you have in your mind of what it is that you want. Because God forbid, like say you do meet the love of your life like tomorrow and like
Girl.
but I'm just saying, like, God forbid, you also don't know what it's like to like at this point in your life to have romantic feelings for someone as a top, like as a verse person. You know what I mean? Because like, what if you do meet
Yeah,
someone and like
definitely not a top.
no, but I'm saying as like a verse person, like saying like you now have changed your grinder information to say like your verse because you have been topping doesn't obviously make you a full-time top, but makes you verse. But like, what would happen if you met somebody and you want him to fuck you just as bad as you want to fuck him?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. Like this week, I had one day in which I like was full on verse. Like I bottomed earlier in the day and then I topped later in the day, and like you know what? It's actually kind of hard to even answer any of those questions that you're posing, because unfortunately, like I just stated, in any of these scenarios of hooking up and having fun sexually with other men, which is really fun and I really enjoy, it's not tied to any like emotional or romantic response. Does that make sense? Like when I'm fucking any of these guys or they're fucking me, or like whenever I'm having any sort of like sexual scenario, in my head I'm not thinking, oh, what would happen if I dated this guy, or what would happen if like this guy, like it doesn't even cross my mind. um and I guess, unfortunately for the townspeople who are on this tier of the weekly episodes, I could go into a little bit more specific detail, but unfortunately I'm gonna have to save that for town council because it requires bringing up certain things and things that have occurred or whatever, romantically speaking. But yeah, I don't know, I guess, to be continued on that one. But
Yeah. I think I'm in the camp of don't close yourself off to something just because you are projecting this idea or of like what it is that you want. If it maybe you know what I mean? I want my obviously I want you to be happy and like hope that you get everything that you want out of a relationship and like the your partner and stuff when he eventually does sort of step into the picture. But j- I'm also aware that sometimes the universe does not give us exactly what it is that we want. It gives us like what we need. And like I don't want you to close yourself off to something just because it's not perfectly matching this idea that you have in your head, you know? Because, like, again, it ebbs and flows and it changes and it also depends on the person. Like, you can never know because it all depends on that. But even then, like, I don't know. I think like a partner relationship is so much more like, yes, sex is so important. And we talked about this in the last episode when we had like the similar conversation. But I also think like there are so many other layers that will be involved in that relationship besides just sex. And like your dynamic of like what you're looking for in a relationship, you can still have in those other aspects of that relationship. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
and I mean, now I'm just like looking back at, like, I mean, I guess, like at I remember specifically like one of our earlier episodes, and one of our first episodes ever, I think like episode like 6 or 7 or something of first season, which are all live and available for streaming and viewing for anyone who's new to the town. I remember we had a specific conversation of like, my ideal man has to be a town. Like, both of us we're talking about like such finite, things.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, for all the townspeople that have been here from day one, like we really have grown a lot this season and this year particularly. I feel like there's been a lot of not just change but growth, and that doesn't necessarily mean that like bigger and better. It's just like
Internal. It's internal.
internal growth of like even just figuring something out about ourselves or like unlocking something and like
Well, yeah. And I was telling Prue yesterday, like when we got drinks and stuff, like I went through my journal from like this time last year to see like what was going on in my life and stuff. And I'm in such a drastically different place for the better. And I like got sort of like emotional like reading it too, because it was like at that point in time, like last year, I was so confused about like where my life was going and like so many things that were going on in my personal life in terms of just like the relationships that I had with people and not understanding why certain things didn't work out and whatnot and now a year later to see where I am now and how I feel in this current moment and how secure I am and all that stuff, it all sort of just is like, wow, it took me really all this time just to sort of learn what I know now. And I'm so grateful for that experience because I do feel like I've grown as a person and I do feel like I don't know, like I feel much more mature than I did then and I will continue to grow as time goes on. So like I will probably look back a year from now, look at my journal from, this time and be like, "Wow, if only you knew, babe. If only you knew." You
yeah.
know? So I think that's also just like I think that's also a beautiful thing that like we're discovering about ourselves, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So anyway, I guess speaking of like change and growth and what's to come, we wanted to quickly mention to all of our townspeople who we love. First of all, honestly, we love y'all. It
We
really has been.
do.
I really, I have, I mean, I think I can speak for Nick too to say that like it's been. I mean, almost I think a big part of our lives and like kind of life changing to like have this platform to speak freely and have met so many people from so many freaking places in the world, people from India, from Poland, from Greece, all over the United States, South America. There's a Singapore townsperson, Chinese townsperson. Like if you're a new townsperson and you think we haven't spoken about you on the podcast from like your location where you're at, we've got Madrid townspeople, we've got definitely English Australians. Like it's kind of wild and it's really fun. So we want to be here for you, and we want to continue growing our little town. And we've got the Patreon now, so also we love all of the people who are there and enjoying the content there, town council members and trust and believers. So we really appreciate your support and your love for us. Uh, through our
Shout
good
out.
times and our bad times. Shout out. That being said, we did speak at the very beginning of the season that we were going to have a shorter season than the one last year. So we are going to be going on hiatus for our third season, which we will be coming back for. So
Mm-hmm.
don't worry, we're not going anywhere for now. But we will be going on hiatus. So we're gonna be wrapping up the season with Pride Month, basically. So we're gonna have four more episodes, this being one of them, and our last episode of the season is gonna be Wednesday, June 25th, just to get you a little fix of PNT to culminate Pride Month, which I think is going to be fun for everyone to just, um, have Pride Month with us, especially during Trump's America. Now we need more joy now than ever. And then we're going to be going on hiatus for a couple of months, enjoy our summer, reconnect, realign, and then
Top more.
Tad, maybe. No, actually, I really feel like I'm coming down from that actually because I'm like, okay, like there's been, I always have, well, whatever. We can go on. But anyway, so then we go, and then we'll announce when we're going to be coming back. We have an idea already. No, I mean, we already know when we're going to be coming back. But well, I guess should we just tell them when we're coming back?
We'll save it for the next
Okay, but I
episode.
mean, don't worry, it's gonna be by the fall. That's fair to say. So we'll give you more an idea of what is happening now. Before on any of y'all freak out, before y'all start saying like, "What am I gonna do without PNT every week?" Which was the case last year when we did a full year for you all because we're insane, an entire
Was
year
exhausting.
nonstop. Literally only 1 week break that we had for the holidays, in which we still posted audio from video and from our show, a live show. We will be continuing during hiatus weekly episodes on the Patreon. So anybody who wants to come on there and join the town council or trust and believe tier We will be continuing to release weekly episodes there for those who, have a little extra change to spare and or are just, addicted to us. They're willing to do anything they need to do to get on that tier. But it's just $4 a month for the weekly episodes, which are now gonna be like the town council is we're only gonna be doing town council during hiatus. And then $7 for the additional bonus episode every month, and then the mini vlogs that we post in there, just daily life stuff, personal life stuff, just more fun behind the scenes stuff, just shooting the shit. So if you want to join any of those, go on the link on our bio, patreon.com/pioneers or trailblazers, or just continue joining us here. Rewatch something from first season, from this season. But we just wanted to give you all that little update before we wrap. Anything you want to add on, Nick?
We love y'all.
You're such an idiot. Anyway, and my pioneer is gonna be
Oh, I didn't give a
anyone.
pioneer. I didn't have a trail. Oh, you're pioneer, so you go
My
first.
pioneer is gonna be anyone who came to the Joe's Pub show, which already occurred. If you came and you lived and you served and you supported queer brown art to kick off Pride Month, pioneer is you.
You're welcome. My trailblazer is gonna be Addison Rae, Fame as a Gun.
Oh, I haven't heard that one yet.
It's really good. It's really
Oh,
good.
and actually, you know what? I mean, my counter to you telling me that you like that is Kali Uchis released a song named "For You" on her new album, Love Sincerely, and she started the lyric, "Love is a gun." Okay.
Well, she didn't. I don't think she came up with it. Not to discredit her, but I don't. I think that has been a phrase for some time.
Whatever. So Addison, same to her.
Shout out
Shout
to all
out.
the girlies. Shout out. I always that one song is a teletopia. How
Telepatia.
Yeah, every time I see someone post that or like I see it like recommended to me, I'm always thinking tilapia.
I thought you were gonna think. I thought you were gonna say you think of me because I'm such a fan of Kali Uchis, but you.
Well, that too, but I just think of like I always like I misread it as tilapia, and then I think about that one Twitter post that I talked about. She thought she was freshly caught tuna tartar. Turns out trade was playing in her face.
Anyway, thanks for that tangent. And for anyone, remember town council's coming for the day after I have my show. So go enjoy the town council assembly. And until next week, we love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.